What if the most powerful fireworks, but arrive quietly, almost unnoticed, until you realize they have already changed everything? When Yu Long and young Meimei chose to register their marriage without fanfare, without spectacle, and without explanation, one question echoed across social media. Why now? And perhaps more importantly, why this way? Stay with us, because this is not just a relationship update. It's a story about timing, emotional courage, and a kind of love that grows stronger when no one is watching. What made this moment so striking was not what happened, but how it happened. There was no build-up, no carefully timed reveal, and no sense of anticipation engineered for a public reaction. Instead, the decision arrived quietly, almost unexpectedly, as if it had already been lived with long before it was acknowledged. In an entertainment industry that often relies on spectacle to signal importance, this absence of ceremony felt deliberate. For Yu Long and young Meimei, this turning point did not require a countdown because it was not a beginning, it was a continuation. The choice reflected a moment where passion finally caught up with intention. Rather than announcing future promise, they confirmed a present reality. That subtle distinction is what gives the moment its weight. It suggests that the most meaningful transitions are not always loud. Sometimes they are simply the natural next step in a journey already well underway. In mature relationships, timing speaks more clearly than words. It reveals readiness, understanding, and an awareness of life beyond emotion alone. The question of why now is not answered by schedules or milestones, but by alignment, when inner certainty meets outer circumstance without resistance. This moment represents a point where emotional clarity outweighed hesitation. It was not driven by urgency, nor delayed by fear. Instead, it emerged when both individuals recognized that waiting longer would add nothing meaningful. Timing, in this sense, became a shared language, a quiet agreement that the present was sufficient. What resonates deeply with audiences is this idea of choosing the moment rather than chasing it. In a culture that often celebrates speed and immediacy, this decision reminds us that patience does not weaken love, it strengthens it. True timing is not about perfection. It is about recognizing when something no longer needs to be postponed. The modern entertainment landscape is defined by unpredictability, changing trends, shifting attention, and constant external pressure. Within that environment, choosing stability is not a passive act. It is a conscious and often courageous decision. By opting for a simple legal commitment, the couple chose structure over performance. This was not about limiting freedom, but about creating a reliable center in lives shaped by constant motion. Stability here becomes a form of protection, not from change, but from being consumed by it. For many viewers, this choice carries symbolic meaning. It suggests that grounding oneself emotionally is not a retreat from ambition, but a way to sustain it. In uncertain professions, stability can become the quiet force that allows growth without burnout. This perspective reframes commitment not as a romantic gesture alone, but as a practical, emotionally intelligent response to a demanding world. In an era where visibility is often mistaken for honesty, silence can be deeply revealing. The absence of lengthy explanations, emotional statements, or public justifications was not a lack of transparency. It was a boundary. By choosing not to narrate every detail, the couple asserted ownership over their personal decision. This restraint communicated confidence, a sense that some choices are complete without commentary. It also signaled trust in each other, and trust that the decision did not require public approval to be valid. For audiences accustomed to constant updates and confessions, this quietness felt refreshing. It offered emotional space rather than information overload. The power of not explaining everything lies in its calm certainty. It reminds us that privacy is not secrecy, and that meaningful commitments do not lose their value simply because they are not fully shared. This story resonates because it extends beyond the individuals involved. It reflects a collective longing for authenticity in a culture saturated with display. Viewers do not engage with it solely as fans. They engage as people who recognize the emotional truth behind the choice. Many see their own experiences mirrored here: the desire to move quietly, to choose stability, and to prioritize substance over appearance. The response is not rooted in admiration alone, but in identification. It feels less like observing a celebrity moment and more like witnessing a universal human decision. That is why the reaction crosses borders and generations. The story speaks to a shared understanding that meaningful life choices often feel most genuine when they are made calmly, without spectacle. In that sense, this moment becomes symbolic, not of fame, but of emotional maturity. This decision does not mark an ending, nor does it suggest withdrawal from public life. Instead, it signals a shift in perspective. A new chapter begins, not defined by noise or visibility, but by intention. Intention brings focus. It allows choices to be guided by value rather than momentum. Moving forward, this foundation may influence not only personal life, but creative direction as well. Emotional security often deepens expression, adding nuance and restraint where urgency once existed. What stands out is the clarity of purpose behind the choice. It reflects a willingness to live deliberately rather than reactively. In a fast-moving industry, that kind of intention is rare. And perhaps that is why this moment feels quietly powerful. It shows that progress does not always require acceleration. Sometimes it begins with standing firmly where you already are. In a world that often confuses volume with value, Yu Long and Yang Meimei chose something quietly radical: certainty, trust, and timing. Thank you for watching Update X124H. If you appreciate thoughtful stories that go beyond headlines and explore the human side of entertainment, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice is part of the conversation, and we look forward to seeing you again in our next update.